Hey guys, good evening and welcome to Coffee with My Father. My name is Jeff and this is our weekly family Bible study. As I said in the previous video this week, we do our family Bible studies generally on Monday or Tuesday, and it gives me a couple days to get this out, condense it to a different form, edit it, and bring it out on Fridays for family that doesn't live here in the immediate area, and for family who can't make it to the Bible study because of different things going on, just life in general. But here we are, so welcome. By general consensus, my wife and daughter wanted to start this year in Genesis and learn the stories and the people that our faith is based on. As Christians, Jesus was Jewish. We should know the stories and much of the Old Testament, because when Paul wrote, according to the scriptures, Jesus died, and according to the scriptures, he was raised on the third day. They didn't have a New Testament. They didn't have the Gospels. They had what we call the Old Testament, primarily the Torah, which is the first 5 books of the Bible. So that's where we're going to start. Sometime in December, I was listening to a Messianic rabbi speak, and he mentioned that the entire plan of salvation can be found in the first word of the Bible. First word of the Torah is what he said. And that word is Bereshit, if I'm pronouncing it right. And that is the word that is translated, that we translate into English as in the beginning. One word, Bereshit. And I'm going to direct you to another video. I'm going to link it in the description. Because that is such a lesson. I don't want to mess it up. So I'll link it in the description. You guys can go watch that and see what goes on there. But we're going to talk about, partially because I have been fascinated with John chapter 1, verses 1 through 3. Where John writes, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning. Through him all things were made, and without him nothing was made that has been made." And I've thought frequently and for a long time, why John pulled that out the way he did. And the Hebrew word that's translated in the beginning in Genesis, John would have written, being Hebrew himself. So we're going to look at the second word in Genesis, which is the word for created, which is translated into English as Bara. And when you break down the symbols, the Jewish symbols, which are much different than our letters, the first letters Bet, then Resh, then Aleph, and we pronounce that Bara. So it'd be B-R-A, the way we speak. When you break it down, the B and the R, the Bet and the Resh, make the word Bar, which means son. When Jesus said to Simon, Simon Bar Jonah. Bar means son. Simon, the son of Jonah. When young Jewish men come of age, they go to a bar mitzvah. It's the son, the mitzvah, the son of the law. So we've got, in the word created, we've got a son. In the aleph, the A sound, which kind of looks like an X in English. It's a little sideways. You'll see some pictures as they come up on the screen. That's a letter of God. So the word that's used for created could be said to be the Son of God. So when you look at John chapter 1 again, go back there, I need to mark it. When it says, through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. He's talking about your creation. And the word used for create is the Son of God. And that really opened me up to how many layers there are that we lose in English, and how often our words are inadequate. If you look at the word God in Genesis 1:1, it's actually Elohim, which carries a more explanatory significance. And I'm going to link the same set of videos to you so you can watch that. You can see a teaching on that, where the teaching, it's about 30 minutes long, that is just on that word. There's so many different ways to say God in Hebrew that describe different aspects of God. So I'm going to look at that. But what I want to say is this. When I saw this for the first time, that the word created could be translated in pictograms as the Son of God, and read John 1:1, I felt like a new level of faith welled up inside me. That the way John said it, which is, it's hard to read, and you kind of stumble over it when you read those words, but after understanding that, the symbols behind the word and the word created, that Jesus is definitely part of everything. And a while back, I don't think I did a video on it. I was talking to my father about it. And because I was reading John 1:1, and as I was reading it, I was getting a picture of the creation story and how it was fitting. I guess I was seeing what I was going to learn a couple months later, where I said, the creation story is like Jesus's birthday celebration. And here is the answer, that the word means Son of God. So we got that. And like I said, that faith came up, and then I went and looked at John 1 again. I should keep a page mark there, where it says, the Word was God, and the Word was with God. And I kind of understood that because of those verses in Revelation. And we got to go back to Revelation 19, verse 13, where Jesus is coming as Lord and King, as ruler, and on his gown is written the word of God. So I accepted that Jesus was the word of God. You know, you've got the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. The sword of the Spirit is Jesus. Jesus is the word. So that led me to look something up again. And interestingly enough, the Hebrew word for word is pronounced, I think it's dabar, and it's the same bar that means sun. But the D sound, the letter there, it's a dalet or a dalit. And from what I can find, that means door. So the word of God is the door of the sun, or the door to the sun. And that kicked that first part of those verses wide open. When you read it, in the beginning was the Word. In the beginning was a door to the Son of Man, Son of God. And the door to the Son of God was with God. And the door to the Son of God was God. It's just, at least to me, things are exploding out of John chapter 1, verses 1 through 4, and Genesis 1:1. I think there's enough study in there to do years worth. But like I said, as I learned these things and as I saw these things come out, it was like I said, another layer of faith just welled up from inside me. And understanding. And that's what I think this year, and the reason we are going back through Genesis. Hey, this is me again coming back to you. As I was editing, I couldn't get this to download to YouTube. It was just way too long. So I'm going to break it up into 2 sections. This is part 1. Part 2 will be coming. Probably put it up tomorrow. So there's some consistency there. But I think this encapsulates what I wanted to say about those Hebrew words and their meanings and what it's leading us to. And then more of an explanation of where we're heading because of that in the next video. God bless. Thanks a lot. And again, have a great night.